as a instrument to subdue all the nations that have not blessed Israel. The true 12 tribes of Judah that all nations have condemned and treated harshly. You have been weighed in the balance and found wanting. And so the prophecy of fire is now unfolding before your eyes. The ring of fire is its own holocaust, but not for the houses of Israel, but for all the nations that will not be able to hold up against it. You can't walk in it, you can't fly through it, you do not have anything in your arsenal or toolbox to upend it or to stop it. All you can do is watch its power take over you, your country, and your nations, and that which you have served all these millennia. The house of Satan and his demons. The 12 tribes of Israel, the bulk of us lie here in the United States of America. And we have been here all along, from before this nation of Satan was ever conceived. We have been here and we have never left. The prophecy of fire entails human and angelic beings bequeathed with the power to produce Armageddon, to exact what the Bible calls revenge, or better yet, vengeance. And we can tell that the erupting of these volcanoes, by their location and by their previous dormant state, that the creator of the universe is sending a clear message because of the prophetic numbers attached to them. The mountain in Ethiopia that had not erupted in the past 12,000 years is significant because the number 12 is a spiritual number that the creator of the universe uses often. It is a number of completeness, perfection, and divine order. And so what that is telling you is that those who make up Christ's kingdom of administration and the time of the Gentiles is now over. It has been completed. It has, the number has been sealed for those who are anointed, those that are charged with bringing humanity back to perfection. And volcanoes that have been dormant for 15,000 years, that is also a prophetic number. The number 15 is associated with deliverance, salvation, and redemption. In many other reportings, you hear them refer to the number 7, whether it's in 7 days, 7 weeks, 7 years, so on. That is also a spiritual number, one that is associated with divine wisdom, also completeness and perfection. You see, the prophecy of fire is that of a God that is angry with the worlds of today. and a God that will be exacting vengeance upon what has happened to his people, and that there was no helper that could save them but he or she herself, and that no man, not even having the ability, but it wouldn't even try to help us in a way that would have removed the domination and the maltreatment that we have suffered all these millennia, and really in the last 500 years, particularly. So in Exodus chapter 3, uh, fire from the burning bush represented God's presence. And I'm going to try to read an excerpt to you right now. Okay, so this is Exodus chapter 3, verse 1. And I'm going to read through 5. Okay, so it says, one day Moses was tending the flock of his father in law Jethro, the priest of Midian. He led the flock far into the wilderness and came to where? Sinai, the mountain of God. There the angel of the Lord appeared to him in a blazing fire from the middle of a bush. Moses stared in amazement. Though the bush was engulfed in flames, it didn't burn up. This is amazing, Moses said to himself. Why isn't the bush burning up? I must go see it. And see it, or see in our lexicon, can mean different things, and one of them is understanding. So like when someone's talking to us and we go, I see, it doesn't mean that we're looking, but it means that we understand. And so when in this text, when he says I must go see it, he meant that I have to inquire about it. I have to understand what is going on here. Verse 4 is, when the Lord saw Moses coming to take a closer look. That means that the creator of the universe is watching us now, especially those of us that are bringing out all of this truth, those of us that have been anointed to do so. He goes on to say, when God saw that, you don't, trust me, God has been, himself has been looking down on what has been going on on this planet. And now he is taking an interest, and he is working on our behalf right now through the angels that are present. Let me read that again. So verse 4, when the Lord saw Moses coming to take a closer look, God called to him from the middle of the bush. God called to him to the middle of the bush. That means the fire, the ring of fire. Especially my black brothers and sisters who have been enlightened about what is going on today in the world. These eruptions of volcanoes is a call to you. It is letting you know that you have to come and with your with understanding, and be willing to, with what you have, to begin to connect that and see how that's going to work out for our benefit. And a lot of you are already doing that. So he says, God called to him from the middle of the bush, Moses, Moses. And Moses answered, here I am. So we are in the wilderness of America. And so I'm going to read to you again out of the text. And you probably already can figure where I'm going. In between Moses and Pharaoh, and when they got to the Red Sea, I believe, and the army of Jehovah came into play with how he saved them and dealt with the army in particular. So it reads in Exodus chapter 14, and I'm going to start at verse 19. It says, then the angel of God, who had been leading the people of Israel, moved to the rear of the camp. The pillar of cloud also moved from the front and stood behind them. Wow. The cloud settled between the Egyptians and Israelite camp, and darkness fell. The cloud turned to fire, lighting up the night, but the Egyptians and Israelites did not approach each other all night. So this is saying a couple of things. One is that there was a disengagement when it says that God had been leading them out of the land of Egypt. Now, of course, that was back then, it took a more literal route, right? Where they were on foot and they were moving. Here, because we were in our lands, it's taking on a spiritual route. So a lot of us, have disengaged in America. We have disengaged in its economy. Okay, we have disengaged mentally and emotionally. We are no longer wishing for its prosperity. Um, and we can see that because the Egyptians, or right now, what we call right now, um, in the last outworking of this moment in Satan's dominion, is the basically white people and all the nations that are gathered with the American government. They have noticed that we are no longer following them. We are no longer engaging in their economy, engaging in their speech, engaging in their view of the world. And so, although they are mustering, right, they are mustering to basically come and get us back, to get us back in line, to get us back under their feet. We are now witnessing signs in the heavens and now signs on our planet that the creator of the heavens and earth is now engaging them directly. And that is what Three-Eye Atlas and all the other objects that are in space are signaling and doing. And that is also why we can see the volcanoes ignited throughout the earth, and especially those that have been dormant for thousands and thousands of years. What I am saying is that we are looking at the arm of Yah flexing, the arm of the Most High God is throwing punches. And those punches are not anything that, with all the arsenal that the human beings have, that Satan had opened to those that were his servants, all their mechanisms and machinations and their weaponry has no power to subdue the arm flex of the Most High God. And that's why we refer to him as the master's grip that just won't quit. So it goes on to say still in Exodus chapter 14, it goes on to say in verse 21, then Moses raised his hand over the sea, and the Lord opened up a path through the water with a strong east wind. The wind blew all that night, turning the seabed into dry land. 22, that's verse. So the people of Israel walked through the middle of the sea on dry ground, with walls of water on each side. And what that is telling us is that during the throes of when the Most High God's army, the Lord's great army, is going to be engaging the powers that shouldn't be. And to be quite honest with you, brothers and sisters, we may even see, and I hope I'm wrong, but I just got to say it because it's the download. We may even see demons materialize to help the power that shouldn't be attempt to take us back into slavery, or to at least get them to at least, maybe not slavery, but I would say to hold America as it is. So we got to be prepared for that. But we will not be fighting alone. And this is telling you that the Most High is in the world right now. And this is proof that the angels are in the world right now, working on behalf. They've been given their orders, and now they are here um, uh, carrying out the directives that they've been given. So understand that all of this, like these ancient volcanoes that are going off right now, all of this happened after Three-Eye Atlas went around that sun. And I told y'all, if you listen to my other videos, I have been warning you guys that they were changing the dynamic of power throughout the solar system. Okay? And that they've been cutting off Satan's power. They've been cutting off the demonic dominion, the ability for them to do something, have it carried out on the planet. The planet no longer obeys them. I mean, really, the planet went dormant. Okay, Satan had control of the worlds, but not the planet. The planet went dormant, but now it's waking up again, or it is awake, and now it's activating again. And that had a dynamic between it and the sun and all of the planets. That's why this Three-Eye Atlas was hitting each planet, because they were changing that power dynamic. Otherwise, you don't get what we're getting right now. All right, so this is marvelous in our eyes. This is good news for the descendants of American slaves. And let me just read this final little verse. So during the time of Armageddon, there are going to be passageways that will be erected in such a way that the children of Israel, especially in the south, the way that's been revealed to me, and again, I could be wrong, that's okay, as long as you guys get to where you need to get to, that the children of Israel will be led away from the stronghold of the Egyptians, of the Americans, will be led away and out of their states and into the wilderness. And the reason why I think that's why I think the West Coast is going to be New Jerusalem is because between the West Coast and the South and even the East, there is, you can look this up, the map, there is this wide berth of basically uninhabitable land. Okay, the Midwest, okay, where you'll find like Texas, I believe Idaho, that whole part of the United States is almost like 3/4 of the United States. We live like literally on the edge. Humanity, the American people, live on the outer rim of the United States. The middle part is damn near desolate. That is the wilderness that all of us are going to have to travel through in order to get to New Jerusalem. And so, but there's going to be a dynamic battle that's going to take place, because these people cannot let you go, because of the spirit that you carry with you that has kept America going. That is going to be ripped from them, and they know it. They can sense it. Even the regular white folk can sense it. So let me finish what is about to happen. Probably sooner than what we realize. So chapter 14, again 23, it says, then the Egyptians, or the Americans, all of Pharaoh's horses, chariots, and charioteers, chased them into the middle of the sea. That's not the open sea, but okay, let me continue reading. 24, but just before dawn, the Lord looked down on the Egyptian army from the pillar of fire and cloud, and he threw their forces into confusion. And I'm going to tell you, it's because there's going to be a great betrayal within that army. A great betrayal. In verse 25, he twisted their chariot wheels, making their chariots difficult to drive. Let's get out of here, away from these Israelites, the army of America shouted. The Lord is fighting for them against us. Well, the Spirit is leading me to read on, so I'm going to read on. Verse 26, it says, when all the Israelites had reached the other side, when all the Israelites had reached New Jerusalem, the Lord said to Moses, raise your hand over the sea again. Then the Lord, then the waters were rushed back and covered the Egyptians and their chariots and charioteers. So my question is, who is the greater Moses of today? Who is going to perform this function? In other words, who is going to be given command over those angels? Because raising of the hand means a signal, a commanding position. Because the angels cannot just come here and do whatever they want. They have to be given permission. And the way that the Lord of heaven and earth keeps the angels humble and in check is that when they get here, they have to come under that human agent or agency that does have a blood right to the planet. So what we're gonna see is that the army that is in Confederate and that has always been in Confederate with the people that have ruled this world that now is at its close, it's going to be a great host. But the army of the Lord's great army, will also be a host. And they are going to be far more powerful than the army that is going to be desirous to try to keep you under their coffers. And sisters and brothers, you cannot phantom, or maybe you can, especially if you're listening to this, you have to phantom how valuable you are to these people and how, like Pharaoh and the Egyptians, how they are loath to let you go. They do not, they cannot. When that finally hits them, that these people are now leaving us, they are going to go insane. And they're going to try to use their weaponry. Not even try, they're going to do that. They're going to use their weaponry to try to keep you and keep America as it is. They are not. They know the difference between the immigrant and all the different flavors from all the different countries and you. They know the difference. And so when they see you starting to leave, they're not throwing you out, but the creator of the universe is going to move you out. And when that happens, when that starts to happen, um, it's going to, unfortunately, it's going to be very, very dark. It's going to be very hellish. But know this, that all the sins that our ancestors have committed or may have committed, we have already paid for. And I know that may be hard to believe, but please trust me. In this verse here and in this thing that we're reading about Exodus, you didn't see uh, at that point when Jehovah was in battle with Satan and Satan's children, you didn't see him picking out which Israel he was going to throw, Israelite he was going to throw out. No, it was everybody. As crazy as we all are, and as imperfect as we all are, it was everybody was gathered and everybody made it across. And so will you. You will make it to Jerusalem. And that prophecy of fire is now unfolding before your eyes. It is basically the start of Armageddon. That is what you're seeing. Okay, thank you. More to come. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid.